Hi, I am Lawrence Room C. Pagurayan and my report is about concept formation strategy in mathematics. But before we dig deep to the topic, let us first study the rationale of concept formation strategy or concepts. So concepts are the furniture of our mind. Why? Because concepts organizes information in our head just like how furniture organizes things in our house. So the key word is organize. When we say organize, it means that things should be put in their proper place. Like for example, our shirt should be put in our Jura box and our kitchen utensil should be put in our kitchen cabinet or vice versa. When we see a Jura box, we know that contains our clothes, or when we see a kitchen cabinet, we know that it contains our kitchen utensils. Why? Because we already have a concept about these things. So that means that concept formation strategy is a classification activity that leads students to use item characteristics for classification. It develops their ability to observe items thoroughly and make useful observations. The purpose of this is to have students examine carefully objects and think about a method of classifying them, which in turn will develop their creative and critical thinking, communication, and independent learning. So, concept formation strategy or a concept is defined by critical characteristics shared by all example of a concept. For something to be an example of a concept, it must contain all these critical characteristics. So, for instance, when I say the word square, rectangle, parallelogram, and rhombus, we can think that they are all geometric figures. They all have four sides and their consecutive angles are supplementary. And we can think that based on the characteristics and the examples, it means that they are all quadrilaterals, or the bigger concept is quadrilaterals. And because we concluded that they are quadrilaterals, it means that a circle do not fit those characteristics and a triangle does not belong to the group. So, there are two key factors to concept formation. One is students begin by studying multiple examples of the concept to be learned, and two, the teacher helps them see the similarities across these examples. When these similarities are established in students' minds, therefore they form a concept. So concept formation strategy is the reverse of enumeration. When we are asked to enumerate, we are given a concept and we enumerate the examples or the characteristics. Well, in concept formation strategy, we are given the examples and we figure out the concept so we can conclude what the concept is. So, here are the 8 steps on how to employ concept formation strategy in the classroom. And let's say your lesson is about linear equation. So step 1 is interest building. Since our topic is linear equation, we can lead a discussion on the question, can you see straight lines without really seeing straight lines? And then step 2 is to assess. We need to assess students' pre-instructional understanding of the concepts because concept formation strategy should never be a guessing game. So we can ask them, do you know how to plot points in the Cartesian plane? Are you familiar with variables and constants? Or do you know how to solve for x and y? Step 3 is studying multiple examples. So, create a data organizational chart that contains different examples. And since our topic is about linear equation, our examples can be equations, graphs, and ordered pairs. And we should let students determine the similarities underlying every examples. We can ask, do the ordered pairs form a straight line when graphed? And what does the graph of each equation look like when the values of x and y are solved. Step okay. Also in this step, provide students with time in class to find information in their textbook and complete the chart. Direct them to finish the chart as a homework. Step 4 is noting differences. So the next day, verify if students have completed the chart. Then ask them, in what ways do these examples differ? Step 5 is noting similarities. You can ask students, in what ways can these examples be clustered? We should record students' responses on the chalkboard for the use in the next step. And then let's take note that this is the phase of the lesson when students themselves identify the critical characteristics of the concept, which are the similarities across the example. Step 6 is summarizing. So direct students to take a few minutes to jot down summary of these similarities in one sentence, 1 to 2 sentences. So students should compose their own definition of the concept. We should allow time for sharing and listen carefully to the concepts they're formed and provide feedback and correction as needed. Step 7 is application. So now that the students have built a rough idea of linear equation, it's time to reinforce and practice it with a classifying activity. And the last step is summary. We can ask sample of students to review the critical characteristics of linear equation or any other topic that we need to discuss in class.